Good morning. Thank you, Alicia, for that beautiful prelude. Good morning. My name is Martha Kirby, and I'm honored to be your service leader this morning. A couple of housekeeping items as you find your seats and settle in. Please silence your phones. I'm going to keep mine on for the online crew, but take a moment. We stream our services we have a Zoom room and also on YouTube. So please wait for a microphone if you're offered the opportunity to speak. Have it brought to you or come to the front so that everyone online can hear you. And be mindful of your words because they will be in our video archive forever. So our first order of business is welcoming everyone, especially our guests. I see maybe a few this morning, but a lot of familiar faces, which we love. And we have our Zoom room too, which is full of members and people checking us out. So whether you're in person or online, we're glad you're here. We aspire to be a warm and welcoming place, diverse beliefs, shared values, and one wonderful community. We look forward to getting to know all of you. So please join us after service for refreshments and conversation. We love questions. Now, our Sunday services reflect varying voices, perspectives, and presentation styles as we explore the broader areas of spirituality, religion, science, and more through the lens of our UU shared values. Please visit us several times to experience the breadth of our offerings, and check out our past service presentations on our website or our YouTube channel and explore the diversity of our programs. Let's please take a moment to wave to our online friends and members. Hello, hello. And take a second to say hi to someone near you, especially if you don't know them.
So this book basically analyzes how Americans think about race and racism.
Okay. I almost didn't need that. You guys just fell into quietness. Thank you. So our last housekeeping thing before we start our service is committee announcements, anything that's pertinent to the life of the church that you want to tell us about, because some of us don't read the newsletter, that you can sign up for with the QR code in the lobby. And so this is nice to put a face to the action.
Good morning, Margie with membership, who is soon going to be Bettina. Bettina is going to be taking over membership, the committee, and the committee will be growing, and I'm glad to announce that. But for membership business, next week we'll be conducting another Pathway to Membership meeting. Some people were unable to attend, and we didn't have childcare. So if you need childcare, we'll be doing it after services next week. If you're unaware, the Pathway to Membership meeting is where we get together and give you a briefing on what you can expect as a member from the fellowship and what the fellowship expects of you, and about, English words. You know, as the years go on, they're harder and harder to retrieve. Our covenant, we discuss our covenant to each other. Lunch will be served. Let me know if you have any dietary restrictions. No, there's not. But if you would let me know that you're coming, I would really appreciate it. And that's, greeters. We need greeters. If you're able to greet for next week or the following or even the following, please let me know. Thanks.
Morning, Jill Vita for Women's Group. We're meeting October 3rd here at the fellowship. We're going to bring some food, and we're going to discuss what our new name will be to differentiate us from the women's support group. We're the fun ones. The other ones are a little more serious, but that's okay.
So I'm Gary Levins. I'm substituting for Janet, who's sick today. So she wanted me to say that the New Inquiring Minds meeting will be next Sunday at noon in the library following the service. And they're going to be discussing culture, looking both inward at the cultures that have shaped our identities, and outward at what it means to borrow from other cultures and when that borrowing becomes morally fraught. So please come for that.
I'm Melanie. I'm not sure which committee I'm really representing here, so it doesn't really matter. Side with Love. So if you ordered a Side with Love t-shirt, I think they're arriving soon. And to help with the chaos of pickup, we would prefer if you could prepay for your shirt or shirts. If you could either see Martha or I today, or contact us through various methods of communication, we will be glad to inform you of the 4 options you have to prepay for your shirts. Thank you. And I believe they're $15 each. Yes, that's what Martha says, because I forgot.
Good morning. I'm here substituting for David McElroy. He's going to be out of town tomorrow night, which is when the men's group meets here at 6:30, and it's a potluck. You want to bring some food, please do. If you don't care to, there'll be plenty of food for you. And it's really good for us men to get together to understand each other and support each other more thoroughly. And the other thing is, I'm going to be leading another one-day mindfulness meditation retreat at a yoga center in Apopka on October 4th. I meant to bring flyers, but I forgot them. Another thing that happens when you get old, you forget things. Those two. So if you're interested, please approach me. It'll be from 9 to 5 on Saturday the 4th. And the information is on the website for the Orlando Insight Meditation Group. Hopefully I'll have the flyers here next week. I wish you well.
Thank you for all sharing and keeping us informed and finding new ways for you to become engaged in our community. There's a lot that's going on here. And we're still looking for someone to plan consistent adult night outs and ways for us to get together just for fun things. So if you've got an idea, share it with somebody, and eventually it'll work its way into happening. So. In a world that seems more chaotic and less loving every day, especially on a national level, it can be difficult sometimes to keep centered and not let the world become overwhelming. I find myself grateful for this community that helps me with that every week. I hope these words from Kim Mason will offer some help to you. A holy alchemy. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold or death into life. We laugh, but are we not also in the business of alchemy? Turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, faith into action. The subtle magic of church combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals into community. Here we engage in a holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the presence. Come, let us be transformed together. Please rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able, as Gary comes forward to lead us in a wonderful new hymn. And as always, if you can't capture the melody, enjoy the words because they are beautiful.
Soon the day will arrive when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile with thundering weather on that day. Thunder clouds will appear. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. have dreamed, some have died, to make a bright tomorrow, and our vision remains in our hearts. Now the torch must be passed, with new hope, not in sorrow, and a promise to make a new start. Wait and see what a world there can be, if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be, if we share, if we care, you and me.
Our chalice lighter this morning is Jo. She is 6 years old. She does use the pronouns she and her. And it was her friend's 7th birthday yesterday. It's always good to have one friend that's older. Oops. That was amazing. You got that one instead. Please join me in these words that we say every week together. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gathered to seek, to sustain, and to share. And our affirmation: love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. If only that was the affirmation for the world. Could be. It is for a lot of us. Sharing moments of joy and sorrow is a long-standing tradition in our fellowship. Joys multiply, generating high fives and big smiles. And shared sorrows and concerns are hopefully lessened by knowing you are surrounded by love. Now, please come forward to the mic. There it is. If you're able, and to share. And if you'd like to share from your seat, just wave your hand, okay?
A week ago Saturday, a week ago yesterday, I took a bad fall. I'm on the mend. I'm glad to be back. I missed you. I can't believe how much I miss you when I'm not here. And I thank you all for kind thoughts and the memos I got from various ones. It was very nice to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Kat, and last Tuesday I passed my exam, and I'm now a registered X-ray technologist. And I got a job at Orlando Health.
My joy is I got a new buzz tag.
Next week on Saturday, I'm going to go to the second diabetes conference.
Good morning. My joy is that I would like to recognize the accomplishments of Tay. Would you please stand up? She took the OWL course and is now another certified OWL teacher for our congregation.
First of all, I want to thank my accompaniment here. She makes it easier for me to get up. My husband is very ill. He's got pneumonia again, second time within a month, and I'm very worried this time. He's not in the hospital, but if you could just send a lot of healing thoughts and prayers, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
So, Melanie, and my joy is that yesterday was also my mother's birthday, and she turned 89. And she's still able to live alone in her house. She has wonderful neighbors that check on her regularly and other friends that check on her regularly. For the most part, though, she's got it. It's got a couple concerns, but overall, when you're 99, she's good. I'll just go that way.
Oh, I'm Roberta. I just remembered my husband was 88 a couple of weeks ago.
All right, it's not too late for
But I'm not much of a television person, but I pig out on Wednesday nights on Channel 24, PBS. They have Nature Nova and then something else. And this past Wednesday, I don't know if anybody saw it, it was an indigenous group of people in Colombia that take so seriously the balance of everything in the world. They have all kinds of special religious ceremonies and sacred events to honor the mountains, the sea, the forest. So if anybody didn't see it and you're a tech person, you might be interested in watching it. One of the things they do is they go to the sea and they grind seashells. And they take the seashells all the way up to the top of the mountains in sacred area and leave the ground seashells there and take something from the mountain back to the sea. But it's just, did anybody see that? Nobody saw that? Oh, I just thought it was such a wonderful, entertaining, informative show that it would have been on this past Wednesday night from 10 to 11 on Channel 24.
Margie again. My youngest son, Miles, is going in for another surgery, the same surgery he just had in June, and it didn't work. And unfortunately, he's got no health insurance, and they sent him a bill north of $100,000 for this thing. So I told Miles, listen, they can't get blood from a rock. Don't worry about it. Go in and have your surgery, and we'll face the rest later. You need to. So hopefully it takes this time. Hopefully it works this time. He's been through a lot.
I have one sharing from online. Kelly Buchanan wanted to share she is saddened by the passing of her dear cousin Kathy. I was only 70. Some of you may have met her. She's visited a couple of times when she's been in town. Passed away with heart-related issues at the Cleveland Clinic and donated her body to scientific research. Let's share a moment of silence together to honor the joys and concerns that were shared, those that remain unspoken, and those of the larger world community that are too many to name. Thank you. And now, let's have Tay up. She's usually got something fun.
Hi, everyone. For this time for all ages, I need 6 volunteers to assist me up here in a game of telephone. So, 6 people: Chloe, Addie, Joe, Lindsay. Leela, is that what you get? Yeah, Leela. 1, 2. Margie. Okay, perfect. Addie and Joe, you guys can line up next to Chloe. Okay, for those of you unfamiliar, Eva, you want to do it too? Okay. You can come stand over here next to Addie, okay, Eva? Okay, so for those of you unfamiliar with the game, I will start by whispering a phrase into someone's ear. They will then whisper the phrase to the next person, and then the phrase will continue to get whispered down the line. And the goal is to keep the phrase as close to the original as possible. The sentence will only be whispered once, unless you truly did not hear any of it. So even if you miss a word or two, continue to pass it down the line. I would like the last person in line, which is Margie, to say what they were told or what they heard out loud for everyone to hear. Okay. Eva, I'm going to whisper it to you, okay? So then you're going to whisper this to Addie, what I say to you. Okay, Joe. Okay, hear it one more time. Go ahead and say it one more time.
The color is candy, and candy is the color of the candy-colored can.
No, that was not right, but thank you to all my volunteers, but that was perfect for what we were going for. So the original phrase was, you guys can go ahead and sit down. Thank you all my lovely volunteers. So the original phrase was, the funny bunny hid the colored candy in the colored can. So it got the same themes. I picked that one because even when I did it just with my partner, Matt, he was like, the cotton candy did the something something. It was only me and him, so. So what we ended up with was not very similar to what we started with. What we were just shown is that we may not always be sharing information that is true. With each degree of separation from the original source of the story, it changed. Words may be changed, details may be omitted, or parts may be forgotten and improvised to make what we're telling more interesting. And once we share something, we cannot take it back, and it is impossible to know just how far the story will spread. So before we share something we heard, ask yourself, was I there for this story and know it to be true? Is what I'm sharing going to make the person I'm talking about look good or have a positive impact on them? Or is this information immediately relevant to the person that I am sharing it with? Are they in danger and need this information? If you answered no to any or all of the questions, this is information you shouldn't share at this time. For gossip is like a cold that you do not know you have. Spreading it may not affect you, but could cause a lot of pain to someone else. Thank you.
Very wise and important words for today's climate. Thank you, Tay. As you enjoy our small choir this morning, we are going to sing Oh Hallelujah for you. Please consider the gifts you receive and those you have to offer, and as you are able, offer a contribution to support our fellowship and our current Share the Plate partner, the Hope Community Center of Apopka, who's been working with our working poor and other marginalized communities for over 50 years. So.
So this small choir will be singing a song that draws on the Jewish High Holy Day prayer, Avinu Malkeinu, a prayer for mercy, forgiveness, and renewal.
We need a lot of, I need a lot of emotional support. That's not here, so, yes.
We got it.
Thank you for that positive affirmation. We do like that song. And we gratefully acknowledge all of those who give so generously of their time, talents, and treasures to this fellowship. Now, our children's recessional, they're welcome to adjourn to their classes or stay with us if they prefer. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day. The Reverend Kathy Schmitz has been a UU minister for 25 years, give or take, you know. We have been blessed to have her in Central Florida for the last 15 or so, and to have her consulting with your board and our members to help us all realize our potential. It's my pleasure to welcome her back to our pulpit this morning.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you again. My offerings this morning are inspired by the upcoming Jewish High Holy Days. I always think it's nice when we can talk about things like that in advance so that we have a better idea of what's going on around us and can be supportive of our friends and neighbors. In particular this morning, I'd like to address themes of forgiveness and the repair of relationships. This morning, as I reread the words I had written and the ideas that have served me well for years, if not decades, I felt like, given the state of our nation and our world, a short preface was needed. There is much in the world today that is hard to comprehend, let alone forgive. The high-profile murder of a right-wing influencer this week has challenged many. Where in this do we apply themes of forgiveness and the repair of relationships? We will each work this out in our own way. My remarks today are intended more for our ordinary lives rather than such extraordinary circumstances, though we may try to extrapolate, and perhaps I will another day. I will share my opinion that we are called to hold two things in tension with each other. First, political violence, any violence, is not the way. Murder is wrong. These things will not bring us the world we wish to live in. And while I heed Tay's lovely admonishment to take care when we speak words that do not cast the subject in a positive light, sometimes others need us to name the truth. Some people, including the murdered man, used his words to share ideas that were inflammatory, hateful, and which contributed to real harm to real people. There is no evidence that he ever felt remorse for the damage he did. You, of course, are not required to share this perspective. I simply offer that both of these things can be true. I also offer that this is a good time to be thoughtful about what we believe and share, as Tay so beautifully demonstrated with her volunteers. There's a tremendous amount of random theorizing and outright misinformation floating around. Let us not contribute to the problem. And so, now let us turn our attention to things that are more likely to be within our control. To prepare, I invite you to a litany that will be followed by a spoken and silent meditation. The litany comes from the late Reverend Robert Eller Isaacs, a Unitarian Universalist minister. Your part is, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Would you like to practice that? We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference. We begin again in love. For each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time that we have struck out in anger without just cause, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time that our greed has blinded us to the needs of others, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For the selfishness which sets us apart and alone, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For losing sight of our unity, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Lastly, for those and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness, forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Thank you. The words for our meditation are found in the prayer book of several Jewish religious movements. They are adapted from a contemporary Yom Kippur prayer by Rabbi Jack Reamer, originally titled A Time for Turning. It is found slightly adapted in Singing the Living Tradition, our hymnal, and it's titled On Turning. I've also adapted it from there slightly. I invite you to a time of meditation and reflection. Settle more fully into our time together. Take a moment to bring yourself fully to this time and this place. Relax your body, calm your mind, feel your breath flowing in, flowing out. Breathe. As summer comes to an end, we await the start of autumn. Now is the time for turning. Further north, the leaves are beginning to turn from green to red to orange. The birds are beginning to turn and are once more heading toward the south. Soon the animals will begin to turn to storing their food for the winter. For leaves, birds, and animals, turning comes instinctively. For us, turning does not come so easily. It takes an act of will for us to make a turn. It means breaking with old habits. It means admitting that we have been wrong. And this is never easy. It means losing face. It means starting all over again. And this is often painful. It means saying, I'm sorry. It means admitting that we have the ability to change. These things are hard to do. But unless we turn, we will be trapped forever in yesterday's ways. Spirit of life, God, love, help us to turn from callousness to sensitivity, from hostility to love, from pettiness to purpose, from envy to contentment, from carelessness to discipline, from fear to faith. Turn us around, revive our lives as at the beginning. Turn us toward each other, for in isolation there is no life. Let us be together in shared silence. Maybe so. A story attributed to the Zen Buddhist tradition. Two monks were traveling along a dirt road after a long rain. Along the way they came across a large mud puddle blocking the way. The monks were able to adjust their robes and cross with minimal impact to their attire. However, next to the puddle stood a young woman dressed elegantly for a party. She could not cross without soiling her outfit. The older monk greeted the young woman and then picked her up and carried her across the puddle. He set her down on the other side. The woman thanked the monk, who bowed to her, and the monks continued along their way. As they traveled along, the older monk noticed that the younger monk was silent and seemed upset. Finally, after many hours and many miles of travel, the younger monk exploded. You know, it is against our vows to speak to a woman, let alone touch one. Yet you picked that woman up and carried her. Yes, I did, said the older monk. And I set her down on the other side. You, on the other hand, seem to be carrying her still. I hope no one feels attacked. We carry things we do not need to carry. Judgments, resentments, hurts. We carry them and we take them home with us and we feed them and they grow. Many of us hold on to unpleasant moments, unfortunate incidents, and innocent missteps. Time passes and like the young monk, we carry them still. We carry things we do not need to carry. Judgments, resentments, and hurt. These things weigh us down and hold us back and nibble at our very being. Somehow we must learn to set them down, let them go, and to stop feeding them. What do you carry that might be set down? He's so handy. The Jewish High Holy Days are coming soon, with Rosh Hashanah beginning the evening of September 22nd, a week from tomorrow, and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, concluding at nightfall on Thursday, October 2nd. Our Jewish friends and neighbors use this time in their calendar to review the past and contemplate the future. Now, of course, we don't want to dwell in the past or dream only of the future. In general, we want to live in the present moment. But in our wonderful, complex minds, the past and the future creep in. And so there are rituals that help us make peace with our past and with our future. Rituals, customs, practices, perspectives that bring us radically into our present moment by asking us here and now how to repair our relationships, to atone, to forgive, to become whole. A UU liturgy for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur describes this time in the Jewish calendar this way. It calls us to look at ourselves from a different place from the usual vantage point, to see ourselves without all the trappings which may clutter our days and ways, to see ourselves as we truly are. It is awesome to look clearly at the real moment. This is why these days are known in the Jewish tradition as the Days of Awe. And an important part of the Days of Awe is forgiveness, seeking forgiveness and granting forgiveness. And this is important. I would suggest that it may not be the apology that's the real issue. An apology given or accepted is important, but ultimately is a tool that can help us get back into right relationship and help bring us to wholeness. Right relationship and wholeness are the goals of this annual ritual in the Jewish tradition. I like that the High Holy Days are in the fall, and this year actually begin on the autumn equinox, the first day of fall, a time of balance, when the hours of light equal the hours of dark. We seek right relationship, wholeness, balance, and sometimes that will mean asking for forgiveness or being forgiven. Now, some might suggest that perhaps we do not need this kind of ritual offered by many traditions, really. Rituals that encourage us to stop and take stock. Sometimes that's daily, sometimes weekly, monthly, or yearly. We might suggest that we should be examining every action as we do it, before we do it, and then we won't need these rituals to review our actions. For those of you who are able to do this, great. Those of you who weigh every action before you do it and never make a mistake, or on those rare occasions when you do immediately notice it and remedy the situation, for those of you for whom this is true, you can sit back and relax. I'm not talking to you. Please bear with the rest of us. One of the challenges that faces liberal religion, and I would say Unitarian Universalism in particular, is that we don't have a ritual of forgiveness. Now, I'm not going to argue that we should create one. I am going to suggest that because we don't, we need to be aware of our responsibilities in other ways. I do find it helpful to have periodic times to reflect on relationships. Yet many of us reject these because of past issues with them or because they have been used as a bludgeon rather than a blessing in our past. Some of us can use the rituals of other traditions, either those from our earlier life or ones we have learned from friends. We can create our own rituals or maybe new traditions. I'm not suggesting how you should handle this today, but I will suggest that you consider where it does or doesn't fit in your life. And also I'd like to suggest a couple of things that it may be important to be mindful of when you're thinking about this. First, liberal religion tends to have an optimistic view of human nature. This gets us into trouble in two areas. The first is the area of perfection, which I'll address in a few minutes. Does your way of dealing with forgiveness allow you and others to be less than perfect? Really and honestly. The other area we have trouble with at times is the truly difficult side of life, the tragedy. Does your way of dealing with forgiveness allow for you or others to be forgiven, not just for being less than perfect, but for doing something that is huge and awful? I'm assuming here some repentance on the part of the one making the mistake. There is a whole nother conversation about those who do not seek forgiveness. For now, I will simply invite your reflection on whether your understanding of forgiveness has room for both imperfection and for tragedy. And sometimes, when we stop and look at ourselves from a place different from the usual vantage point, and when we see ourselves without the trappings that may clutter our days and our ways, and we see ourselves as we truly are, we will see that the repair of our relationships is not always dependent on the other person at all. Rather, it is our perspective that may need repair. It is awesome to look clearly at the real moment. It is awesome to realize that we have within us the power to transform our relationships. In a lovely children's book titled The Hurt, Teddy Doleski tells the story of a little boy who has a hurt. Justin's hurt came into being when his friend Gabriel called him a name. The little boy, Justin, said nothing to anyone and instead took his hurt home, where it grew and grew. Throughout the story, Justin has to learn to let go of his hurt before he can renew his relationship with Gabriel. Only then could he realize that when his friend called him a name, he had choices about how he reacted. He had choices not just about his actions, but also with how he felt. If Gabriel called him a name, Justin could call him one right back, and they could laugh and go on playing. That was a choice. If it hurt Justin, Justin could tell Gabriel how it felt, and they could talk it through, and that was another choice. Both of those choices were better than taking the hurt home and feeding it and letting it grow. And sometimes things do hurt, they do. But we have choices about how long we hold on to the hurt and how much we let it grow and how long we carry it. In the case of the monks, one carried the alleged offense for hours, while the other set the woman down on the other side of the mud puddle. The older monk, who carried the woman across the puddle, had to make a values choice. He had vowed not to speak to a woman, let alone touch one, and yet he picked up the woman and carried her. In doing so, he chose compassion and kindness over strict observance of his vows. We sometimes forget that the term values implies a relative worth. Values are rarely on or off. They are weighed one against another. And sometimes we have to choose. We can't have it all. The monk chose compassion and kindness over strict observance of his vows. It could have gone the other way, but it wouldn't have made a very good story. The monks could have passed by the young woman, and they might have felt secure in that choice. Or perhaps later they would have regrets and would berate themselves for having valued their vows over kindness. In most situations, We have more choices than we think. And other people do too. Life is complex. And so as our Jewish friends and neighbors take stock of their lives, we too are invited to take stock of ours, to look at our broken hearts, our heavy burdens, our tense relationships, and see if possibly there is a way forward toward more wholeness and health, to see if in this season of balance we might consider bringing balance into our own lives. Some questions for you to consider. Is there someone to whom you might apologize? Is there an apology you might accept? Is there an apology you feel you need? And are there other options? When you stop and look at yourself from a different place than the usual vantage point, when you look at yourself without all the trappings which clutter your days and your ways, when you see yourself as you truly are, might the other person who at first seems to be without values when they offended you, might it simply be that they were weighing the values a little differently than you? Might it be your judgment of their weighing that is most in need of adjustment? You do not have to change the weighing of your values to respect that theirs might be different. So now let's turn our attention back to this question of perfection. Not that that is an issue for anybody in Unitarian Universalist congregations. We have a story from the Sufi tradition as repeated in Soul Food by Cornfield and Feldman. Mullah Nasruddin, who is, by tradition, Mullah is a teacher, and Mullah Nasruddin in particular is a comical teacher for teaching stories. Mullah Nasruddin was sitting in a tea shop when his friend came excitedly to tell him, "I'm about to get married, Mullah," his friend said. "I'm very excited." "Mullah, have you ever thought of marriage yourself?" Nasruddin replied, "I did think about getting married once. In fact, in my youth, I very much wanted to do so. I waited to find for myself the perfect wife. I traveled to Damascus looking for her. There I met a beautiful woman who was gracious and kind and deeply spiritual, but she had no worldly knowledge. I traveled further to Isfahan. There I met a woman who was both spiritual and worldly, beautiful in many ways, but we did not communicate well. Finally, I went to Cairo, and there, after much searching, I found her. She was spiritual. She was deep, graceful, beautiful in every respect, at home in the world and in the realms beyond it. I felt I had found the perfect wife." His friend questioned further, "Then did you not marry her, Mullah?" "Alas," said Nasruddin, as he shook his head, "she was, unfortunately, waiting for the perfect husband." The perfect partner, the perfect parent, the perfect child, the perfect coworker, boss, volunteer, student. We hold out an image of perfect, and it takes us on long journeys searching. Sometimes we are seeking perfection in others, sometimes in ourselves. And while the idea of perfection what perfection might look like can be a helpful measuring stick against which to compare what we find in reality, we set ourselves up for disappointment and disillusion when we expect to actually find it in the real world. When we expect others to be perfect, then either we avoid relationships with them, or in the relationships we get into, we have trouble forgiving them for their inevitable human imperfections. Likewise, When we expect ourselves to be perfect, our understanding of our own humanity is at risk. Perfectionism is an important theme when we talk about forgiveness, and this is a good time to talk about forgiveness. So, one last set of questions. Is it possible that you are expecting too much of yourself or another person? Are you expecting perfection out of a mere mortal? Making mistakes, having flaws, being imperfect does not make you or anyone else less than whole. Human beings make mistakes. They come with flaws. They are imperfect. Wholeness does not require perfection. It requires gracious affirmation of our humanity. And our humanity includes mistakes and flaws. And so we come to a paradox where two seemingly opposite things are both true. We will always be making mistakes and their attendant apologies. We will have flaws and continue to learn and grow from them. And yet, in this acknowledgement, we are whole, fully human, in a sense perfect, just the way we are. One of our Unitarian Universalists principles summed this up and contained the paradox, although I think we rarely notice it. The third principle said, we accept one another and encourage spiritual growth in our congregations. We accept one another. We open our hearts to each other just as we are. And at the same time, we encourage growth. Always there's more. Love and hope. Love and hope. May this community live fully into that vision, and may our lives be lived as examples of what is possible. May it be so. Thank you. Thank you. Our closing music today, Gary will be taking Janet's place as we sing What Wondrous Love Is This. Please rise in body or spirit and join Gary. Number 18.
Yeah, it's 18 in the hymnal, but if you know this tune, you might have to pay particular attention to the words because they're different than what you might remember. I'll try to. And just verses 1 and 3, apparently. Okay. What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, that brings my heart such bliss, and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end I will sing.
Beautiful words. Often, it's those who have suffered the most that have the most to teach us. And my closing words are for one of my favorite teachers. Oh, no, I would not. I'd like to keep it going all week long to remind me of the flame that burns within us all. Yes, let's do that. The light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let me start again. But first, I will say one of our catchphrases here that we use is we are way more about love than perfection. And that is the heart, the center of our faith and ourselves. So, once again, often it's those who have suffered the most that have the most to teach us. My closing words are from one of my favorite teachers, Martin Luther King Jr. Forgiveness is not an occasional act. It's a constant attitude. So let's contemplate that while Alicia sends us off with her prelude. We'll meet again, perhaps next Sunday.
Sorry, I should have let that go.
That was lovely. Enjoy refreshments and conversation. Ask us questions, Sure.